So let's start by maybe talking about how this originated. Maybe people don't know, but you started actually making a documentary about this guy and about this buried treasure. Can you say a little bit about how that happened and then why you decided to shift course and turn it into a fiction film?
Yes, so Adrian, the guy who plays Adrian in the movie, it's a friend of mine. He's an actor and a filmmaker, and he started to make a movie, to shoot a movie like maybe more than 10 years ago. And because he was also the producer of the film, and he invests his own money, he used to shoot like a few days by year. So I met him a long time ago, and at one point he realized that he can't finish the film, his film. And years after, I asked him, and I said, okay, let's try to do it together. So he has like 40 minutes from his film, and in the beginning we were starting. I made some interviews with him, and after that we tried to editing with the images that he has, and that didn't work. At one point I know this. He told me about this legend that he's in grandparents' village. There is this legend that his grandfather buried the treasure. So we go there with the film crew, and I call a specialist in metal detectors. So we went there to find the treasure. So we didn't find it, and I said, okay, I will write a fiction where we will find it. So that was.
So how close is the first part of the film to the documentary?
No, in fact, when we are searching for,
that's the
in the beginning of the garden,
right.
of the. There are a lot of things that I keep it because.
Was the documentary funny? Like what you were shooting, was it already funny? This whole idea of like using the metal detector and looking, because like
no, it was because it was very. It was happening very fast. I called someone from my hometown that I knew that it's a small company that I knew that they are doing that also. So the guy came, and at the end it's Cornel from the film, because I made a casting with professional actors, and at the end he tried also, and I choose him. So he just came there on we came from Bucharest, he came from my hometown, and we're starting there to try to find the treasure. He has these two. He had these two detectors, one with the image, another one with the sound. So yeah, he starts, and a lot of things from the beginning there. Let's say when I was writing the script, in fact, I was watching the documentary and I was copy the lines, the dialogues. So yeah.
Can you say a little bit about the impulse to turn this into a fiction, to give it a so-called happy ending? Why did you want to do that?
Because when we were there at one point, I was feeling that we were lost there in the garden, and the garden, it became something else, because it was so. It's really the story of the garden is like that it was. And I had the feeling, even after that, when I was sewing the material and I was trying to edit the documentary, I felt lost, and I felt that we were lost there. It's like it became the garden like a certain type of black hole, like a dark hole, and we don't have, and it was something very instinctual in a way. We have to get out from here, So that was the first feeling that I had when I.
There's, I mean, even though it's a fairly, on the surface, seems to be a very simple film about the search for treasure, I think there's so much of Romanian First of all, the current economic and social situation in Romania is very much felt in the film, and also so much of Romanian history, the talk of the revolutions, and also just like in the house itself, you know, the previous incarnations of the house. Can you talk a little bit about just sort of like layering all of that into the script?
As I told you, I was impressed in a way by I think in a way in all my films there is something that I'm trying to get this type of, that is nothing, you can't fix things, you know, all it's in between and all it's moving, you know. So of course it's absurd at one point that you don't know. There are things that are passing from one to another. There are stories that he's coming, the neighbor, he's telling to the other one, and the other one, he said, yes, we'll go. And I wanted to have this type of movement in all my film, and not to have something that it's fixed, you know. It's in a certain type of movement all the time, you know. So of course there is this background of a certain type of history that it's absurd. And you in a way you had the feeling that it will never ends, this type of spiral, circle, yeah.
Can you say a bit about the significance of the treasure being something German? Like why? Yeah.
When I was writing, I wanted to have something, in the beginning, something like this type of paper, in a way, you know, this type of what is a value and what has value in our society. So it was something that is coming from the way it's how even the value is changing, you know, in all the films. So I wanted to have something that it's from outside, and something that it's in a way absurd how it ends up there, you know.
This, I think, is maybe the first film you've shot on digital. Is that correct, or first feature?
Yeah.
And your last film was actually very much, in some ways, about not just cinema but celluloid, and I think we actually projected it on 35. And can you talk about the shift to digital and what motivated it?
No, I tried there in my last film. It was like a sort of type of limit for the main character, for the director, which every time you have a limit when you are making movies, depends on each one project that or think about that. So you know, it was also a certain type of excuse for him, you know. But here I tried the both. I tried 35, and I tried digital also, and I liked more the nights. I prefer the nights in this condition of lighting. I like it more on digital, and in the same time I like it all I like it also for how the way is when we shoot in the garden in the daylight. I like it how the garden and the background it's with how is like a background in comparison with the characters, you know, because it's more present in a way, and you have details in the back. So yeah, for let's say for artistic reasons, I decided to shoot it on digital.
We'll take questions from the audience. Yes. What were some of the challenges that you faced?
I don't know. The shooting, it was quite, I think, the most easy shooting that I did it till now. I don't know. It's maybe it was in the beginning because I worked with children, but in the same time, if you spend a lot of time with them and with the camera, and they realize that, after that they forget, and they are very good. So I didn't have something now that I'm, maybe the weather, because I wanted to have, I wanted to have the first part when they are searching for the treasure to be cloudy, not to have, and the sun it's coming, and at one point in the film, in the garden, when with the crows, and when they are speaking outside, and I want to have this on that, and that for we were limited like time, and we have to stay a little bit. We depended on the weather and on the sun and clouds and all, and we wait a little bit. Yeah, maybe that was a little bit harder,
The question about the theme of honesty, the possibility of corruption, and how that doesn't actually materialize in the film. Whether honesty was a theme for you.
Yeah, because this film, I was thinking it around this type of, a certain type of solidarity and between these three characters, because the three of them they could find the treasure. No one of them separately he could do it, So I was thinking that from the beginning, to have this type of solidarity between them, and honesty, at the same time.
I guess this viewer is saying that he was suspicious of the sort of fairy tale quality of the ending, and didn't buy it, and whether that was something that you deliberately wanted to like provoke in the audience, the sense of disbelief.
I think for me it's no. For me the character, and I was thinking a lot when I made the casting and all. I wanted to have a character, and that he could do that, in a way. So if for you it was not like gesture, So I was looking for a certain type of naivety of the main character, and a certain type of what would I say? Generosity, this type of. So I think, yeah, for me, it was started with him, and I tried to be plausible in a way.
The significance of this arbitrary redistribution of the wealth.
It's like in the beginning, the story goes on.
Can you talk a bit about the song over the closing credits?
Yeah, it's a song that I know it for a long time, and I like it.
This is this version, though.
Yeah, this version. Yeah.
You like the Laibach version of this song?
Yeah.
This right.
Yeah.
But can you talk about why?
I don't know. Maybe I was a rocker when I was teenager. No, it's a song that I know it for a long time, and I knew that I wanted to have like a crane movement, like in the end of the film, and I don't think I had this final scene. I knew it from I don't know, but I had it in my mind right after I finished the second or the third draft. I think I had the third version of the script. So yeah, for me it was in a way, it was the song.
So you wanted to end with a crane shot to the sky.
Yeah. This type of movement in a way, like in a. Because in a funny way, it's like it's a certain type of Western. This movie, in the Western, they go to reach to find the gold. We have to dig for that one.
Yeah.
We didn't fight too much. We didn't find anything. This type of metals and all, but At one point we stopped at 1 meter. We stopped because Adrian, he didn't want and to continue in a way. You know.
I think he did address that, and I think he said that he for him the
Maybe
character is believable, right?
Maybe I screw it. No, but it was important for the character that all it's coming from the main character, you know. And for me it was like a gesture that he did it, you know. And it's like, of course, it's not. This movie is different from the other movies that I made, and it's in the way that it's not, it's realistic, but in the same time it's not very, and it's it has from the beginning, it has this flavor of fairy tale, and all the journey at the end has this, and I try to keep it in the same way till the end, the same tone, you know, of the film. I think for me it was the most difficult when I made this movie. It was to find a certain type of tone and to keep it on a certain type of surface, you know. So of course it has something, maybe something from fairy tale, but in the same time it's not. I don't know.
It seems to actually have
but I think you are really speaking. You are speaking about his gesture, no? And you are speaking also about the crane shot and all. For me, it's like this movie. It was like a certain type of circle, you know, like a spiral, you know. And because, as I told you, I was very interesting when I made this movie in a certain type of movement, you know. And for me, it was like, the natural ending.
Do you see this as a film about? I was just thinking about your previous film, The Second Game. Do you see this as a film about parent-child relationship too? Fatherhood?
Yeah, but I think like, it's about that also, of course, and it's about a certain type of heritage, because in our culture, all the time we are like the kids. It's a culture focused on the kids, you know. It's like the kid is like a son, you know, like, and all the time we said that our kids, they will live better and they will, you know, they will do it. So it's a certain type of about heritage also. But I think like all my movies around freedom and.
Great. That's all the time we have. Corneliu, thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Being here, and thank you all for coming.